Hey guys, John Gale here, Japanese language instructor, game designer, part of the Nashville Game Developers in Nashville, Tennessee. We are participating in the Ludum Dare, Ludum Dare, however you want to pronounce it, game jam this weekend. The compo part has already ended, and the jam itself ends in 9 hours and 21 minutes. There we go. There's the clock. So I've been working on a game throughout the weekend. In all honesty, it hasn't gone too well. I just had things to do and haven't put a lot of time into it. And also I've just used a lot of preloaded maps and things that were in RPG Maker and don't really have a lot of ownership over the creation of the characters and the maps and things like that. I've really just, the time I put into it, I've tried to focus on programming and learned a lot of new things. Had a lot of trouble last night. What I want to do today is I'm going to just go into the full screen, get to a point where you can quit jobs. And so my feeling is that'll be similar. Well, let's just look at, for example, a job. Okay. So this is what's called the mid job, and if mid job is on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, I'm going to add some choices here. So now the boss is going to ask, ready to get work? Okay. And then we're going to show some choices. So choices, we have yes. And actually, and there's no cancel here. Okay, when yes, do this. So when yes, say I get a small, say the character says his line, and then however much HP you gain or lose through working this job, and then you take away that HP, you turn on the switch that you went to work that day, you wait 30 frames so that in case that 10 HP drops the player below 1 HP, during this 30 frames we could kick off the game over sequence. That's what that's just waiting for, to give that enough time to run and check. And that's what I struggled with for about an hour and 40 minutes yesterday, is figuring out that solution. And during that 30 frames, we can detect whether the game is over or not. If the game is over, exit the event process and get out of there and just let the game over event do its thing. Okay, so that logic is all intact. We say, actually, I'd like to quit. We need text from the boss. Really? That's a big life decision that'll cost you 100. No choices again. Yes. Sure. Want to quit. I don't know if that'll all fit. Never mind. Then I'll working here. Again, don't know if that will all fit. The cancel is going to be choice 2. Okay, the nevermind logic is going to be the easiest. Never mind the boss. That's what. Let's get to work. You know what? I might need this. Put that in. Okay, so whenever you say yes, you'll go to work. The boss says that's what I like to hear. Let's get to work. And then exact same process, but we're just duplicating, copying and pasting. That'll run twice. Normally, if I'm repeating myself like this, I'd like to refactor all that code into a common event, but nah, because each job is different HP loss or gain. Okay. Oh, never mind that. Yes. Okay, then yes, I'm sure I want to quit. And we need the boss saying, well, we're sorry to be. And then we need to decrease the HP. Actually, I should have just copied everything. We need to decrease it by 100 because you quit. We're not going to turn on went to work because you did not go to work that day. We're still going to wait the 30 frames. Yep. There I go again with that cussing. Just copy paste. I don't need to cut it. We're again going to wait the 30 frames to check if this gives a game over. If it does give a game over, get out of this event. You'll be out of this event anyway. But I do want that 30 frames. And then we're going to check if it's game over, and then let the game over do its thing. In theory, that all makes sense. In theory, communism works. Let's give it a test. Start the player there, and we're going to need to set the player's max HP to something like 210. Okay. The construction site, we like a job here. This isn't going. I need more HP. Okay, that all fits. We're going. Okay. We're going to move into this apartment. Player went to work that day, so should be able to go to the bed. Spend time at home. Oh, that costs 25. Oh well, either way. So we've realized that living in this apartment and working this job is kind of draining us. So now we're going to quit the job. No, we can. Okay, yes, I'm sure I want to quit. Never mind. Then I'll keep working here. I think we've got enough HP to test it. That's what I like here. Let's get to work. Get a small sense of satisfaction. Have to build things for the city. Okay. On home. Already tested the whole moving out thing. Alright, now I'm gonna go in here and tell the boss who's boss. That's a big life decision. Check it out now, let's see what happens. I guess you could quit without actually working. Yes. Need to go to work. Oh, because I quit the job before I work. Oh, now you're effed. That's what you get for quitting the job before you even go to work. Wait, didn't I quit this? Oh, I did. Oh, it's broken. Here we go. That's what I wanted, was to find the bug. Okay. Control switches need to turn the mid job accepted to off, as you no longer work the mid job. Why it's so important to test basically everything. Let's do that again. Now the apartment is not going to let him go to sleep, because he hasn't gone to work that day. So the problem last time should start today, but it's a game over. And then let's say I'm at this point and I'm like, ah, no, I didn't expect that to happen with the construction site. F this, I'm moving out of this apartment. Ah, that was weird. Fact. Basically, anytime the player loses HP, we're going to have to do this. I honestly don't think I need that. I have to move. Game over loses on, then exit. Now you're going to fade out the screen, you're going to transfer the player. I'm going to take out this movement of the landladies because I don't think it's necessary. Especially if I don't move them. Okay. Now what's this about? Delete that. Don't make the landlady. Okay, here we go. I mean, this stuff was supposed to be done. I'm going to change that to wait. So it's only a quarter-second blackout. Can't be helped. Well, the transfer has a blackout anyway. Alright, let's try this with just the apartment then. Go to work. Use the sound effect there. Alright, and we say F this, I'm out of here. Okay. We are going to need to make the landlords were not affected at all. Let me just check one more thing. All we're going to do is move in, move out, and make sure the landlords move okay. Okay, they're totally fine. Or so he says. Alright. Now do I remember what I did? What is all this? Oh yeah, that's when I was effing around before, so she's already got the game over. They all should have the game overs. On this event, not on the other one. And she doesn't necessarily, because the others don't. Make sure. Yeah, she doesn't need to disappear if it's game over. It's just testing all that. Okay, we're going to have to move the HP decrease here. Delete that weight. I'm going to delete, that was it. I should have deleted the movement. I need to delete the movement from the other Ivanka Trump. And then this is where we're going to do the weight 30 frames. After HP is decreased, check on game over, and then put a conditional branch that it is game over. Then we get out of here. Processing. Okay. It's not a game over, fade out the screen, transfer the player, wait, fade the screen again. And again, we're not moving you anymore. I'm gonna either have to play the game for reals or I can't quit the job yet. Need to instruct players how to run like this. I'm still not done with you, construction site. Need to add a sound effect. Now this one you actually get an HP boost. And despite the fact, let's just pretend like he wants to move out. Still alive. In. Test the move out scenario. We just give a Okay, that looked pretty clean. How we doing? Okay, now we need to set up our third land. Need to fix these bug corrections. They don't need to move the landlords anymore. Need to remove the HP immediately after deciding to move out and playing the buzzer. Remove the HP. We don't need to wait that 15 frames anymore, but after we remove the HP, we will need to wait 30 frames to give the game over check a chance to do its thing, and a conditional branch that if the game is actually over, that we get out of this event. Okay. Okay. Let's. Where's my debug? Just for debug purposes, we're going to pretend like the player went to work. And we're just going to give him 110 HP. Okay, that worked. And one final test. Give the player the and so on. Move in. Do we have a clean game over? We do. Okay. So that bug with the landlords is fixed. Go back up to the boss. And let's play that sound effect. I think it was the blind one. Play that when you lose the HP. We gotta do it here. Play anytime you lose. No, that one's okay. That's kind of a pop thing. What am I playing when you get the keys to your apartment? Item 3. That's the sound effect. Okay. I think that's about everything I wanted to do with the jobs, and it was while working on the jobs that I noticed the problem with the apartment. Now I just want to take a moment because there's something I want to check. I've been trying to do version control with GitHub, and it says I do have 4 uncommitted changes. Alright. I've been having a problem with GitHub Desktop using Unity in that it doesn't detect when I make changes, but it did detect with RPG Maker. This is actually my first time using RPG Maker and GitHub. Now I can share the source code for projects, which is what you're supposed to do in game jams. But anyway, what did I do here? Fixed game over tick job, fixed for bugs, and over. And I just read this somewhere that you're supposed to use the present tense when describing your changes. Action job fixes game over bugs and landlords commit to the master. Okay, back to the history. There we go, there's my version control. Let's say if I ever wanted to go back to version 000, I could. So that's working. Happy days. Now, what I need to do is the changes I implemented on the construction site, I need to implement on the other jobs as well. So let's go to the office job. Anytime you lose HP in a negative way, play the blind. Sound effect. Anytime you lose HP, we need to do the check. The game is over. We need 30 frames to check if the game is over. If the game is over, then I'm going to move this up. Safe. Game is over, then get out of there. Keep going where I am. Okay, looks like you got a job, which it'll cost you 50 HP of life. Okay, this time play the sound effect that you got job, keys to the apartment or whatever, which is item 3. Yeah, that one. Okay, anytime. I need to stay consistent. It might not be necessary here because the sequence ends and you get out of the event anyway, but just to cover my butt, let's keep it consistent. Do the 30 frame wait to check if the game is over, and if the game is over, get out of there. Okay, this is kind of how it works, but this does not have the quit logic. But let me go check one thing. Yeah, that's fine, as long as it happens before the wait. The switch changes. Happens before the wait. Yeah. I'm good. Good with that. Okay. Is there anything I could just copy paste? I could, but I don't want to F it up. Better to start the logic. Morning, John. Ready to get to work. So, choices. Yes. Billy. Quit. Don't allow. Cancel. If yes. Here. That makes a. Start to vary things for the narrative. Usually up until now, everything has just been the same dialogue for all the characters, and I was going to go through later and flesh it out. Give a little personality to each character. Whether I'll have time to do that, whether I'll even be able to submit this game, we'll see. Okay, and this is where cut and paste that. Went to work on, play the sound effect, take away the HP, wait and check if the game is over. Are you kidding me? I forget how. Hold on. We'll leave the choices, but what did I do? Okay, I did yes, I want to quit, and then no, I don't. They're the same order that they are here. Okay. If you do get to work, beat this, don't cut, don't just copy, paste. Okay. Going yes, I want to quit. Maybe this can be copy pasted. Copy. Paste. Okay. It's still the same 100 HP. And we need to change this switch. Glad I caught that. That would have created a bug. Okay. Let's test some game over logic. I think the player only has like 90 HP, so let's just make sure this is working. Yeah, well, it's 50. Rigorous testing. We got the game. Let's now give him 75. See what killer day at the office looks like. Yeah, that was pretty clean. Okay, now we're going to need to add 100 HP so he can move into an apartment. And the apartment closest here takes away 10 HP. And I want him to quit, so we'll just round it up to 200. And that should cover the do. I've still got a debug on, just reminded me while thinking about it. Turn that off. Get an apartment. We went to work today. Sleep. Oh, I guess we didn't. That could be a frustration the player experiences. And just from a user experience standpoint. Maybe I should delete some of those lamp posts. We can walk through the park. Let's test working and getting a game over. Okay. Alright. Something came up there. Something I wanted to check. Starting to get nitpicky. I ain't got time to be nitpicky. I'll be honest, it was kind of hard at times to motivate myself to work on the game. Because again, I don't know if I'm even going to submit it or not. Usually for global game jam, we'd be like, man, whatever you got, just submit it and be proud of what you did because you put in a lot of hard work. I've not exactly done my absolute best on this game, or really, I mean, I've put in a lot of hours, but I've not made like the massive amount of effort I usually do at other game jams. Because of that, it's not exactly proudest work. Okay. 100 HP should cover it. Now let's just test this out. Okay. That looked pretty clean. I trust the rest of it. Let's... Well... Working at the school actually adds HP. We need the item 3 sound effect. Yeah, that one. That you've accepted the job. Because this one adds HP. We don't have to check game is over or not there, but we do have to check when it minuses HP. Right here, or do we? Here's what I'm saying, like... Yes, I am. Because even if the event ends right there, the player could still walk around for like half a second or something. It would look kind of stupid. Okay. So let's test a game over just on getting this. Should still work. He should only have 100 HP. And it costs 200 HP to get hired at the school. Okay. That worked. Now, just in the name of consistency, because the player not quit this job. I know, I'm not talking. It's a kind of, I don't need to think things out. We need to move this. And we're just going to go with item 3 sound effect. Or maybe one of the other. Save my work. So, Okay, should be ready for that. Since this job gains HP, we don't need to test what it's like to work there. You will need 200 HP to take the job and then 100 to quit. We already tested game over accepting the job. Okay, that all still works. If I go move into the nice apartment, it'll cost 100 HP, but I've gained HP by staying here. Now I had a difference. Okay, I look pretty clean. Let's change the sound effect. I think it's absorb. Yep, absorb 2. Keep it consistent with the apartment. Okay, let me come back here. And let's talk things out a bit. So, this is kind of the extent of the game logic I think I'm going to be able to put in. Got apartments working, you can move in and out of apartments. Got all the jobs working where you can start a job then quit a job. Decision, cost, HP. And we've got a game over. We also have a win scenario. Let me double check on the win scenario just to make sure it works. Fine, I could move him to the beach, but I don't care. Okay. Now, while I'm here, there's a few more things I want to clean up. And let me zoom in. Full screen while it's on my mind, so don't forget it. Let me tell you why I'm doing this. I'm going into the system of RPG Maker, and I'm looking for any music or sound effect that I do not use in the game. And I'm basically telling the system we don't use this in the game. And it's kind of like all this I'm going to switch to none. It's, I mean, very repetitive and kind of a pain. But the point is, by telling the system that none of this music is used, means it will not load it into the final build, which is a good thing, because if I load something into the final build that I'm not using, that eats up a lot of space. These aren't as bad. Do I see the need to let people save their game? Ludum Dare games are supposed to be just a few minutes. I feel like this would be a few minutes. Basically, do I want to have this or not? Because none of this stuff would work. Only those three. I don't need the gold, don't need the MP. Let me double check what other options I have. Statuses, parameters. Yeah. Here we go. What happens? I just blank this stuff out. Let's see, Precious. Let's see what the menu looks like now. It may only have a few options needed, or it may just have a lot of blank space. It has a lot of blank options. Alright, that's stupid. You know how, I mean, I was just going to talk about some things, and then I get distracted by ideas I have. But you need to either write the idea down, which I did not do, or you need to work on it. And my general rule is if it takes less than 5 minutes, I'll work on it. What tends to happen, though, is that it takes much more than 5 minutes. Alright, without Googling plugins and stuff, or spending a good bit of time research, I don't know. Not that I can't, I just don't know how to disable all those menu options. So I'm just gonna make it so you can't use the menu. What a jerk. Now let's test something. We have to start somewhere on this map, which is where the game would start. Anyway, cannot open the menu. We go into a school, which is a different map, and it's still disabled, and it shouldn't matter because we never re-enable it. Okay, there, that's done. Alright, little bit of a distraction. Now let me come back and just tell you what I'm thinking. Tell you what I want, what I really, really want. I'm thinking that the essential game logic is complete. Need to flesh out the narrative to make it a little more interesting. The problem, and problem it is, you know, what I foresee is people playing this and exploring around, and then seeing, oh, this job drains HP, this apartment drains HP, let me quit the job, let me move out of the apartment, try to find another one, oh, I got a game over, let me try it again. And like the ideal situation, spoiling everything, so if you actually want to play the game, if I actually submit it, giving away the goose here. The ideal situation is, like, let's say after several playthroughs, or you got lucky the first time, that you realize that this apartment tucked away back here restores HP, and that working at the school restores HP, and those are kind of your ideal situations. Let's say you figure that out in month 1, then all the game becomes is a slog going back and forth between home and work, which is kind of an artistic statement behind the game. It is, however, very boring. So, in the 8 hours and 20 minutes that we have, I could implement, copy paste the same thing I've been doing with the homes and the jobs, apply that to the friends and the dates. I already have the characters. Just copy paste the logic. Seems kind of weird that you could be like friends with somebody and then say I don't want to be friends with you anymore, but I guess that shit happens. Or somebody you're dating, say I want to break up with you. That's very doable, but then it's just going to be a lame, like when you do things, when you go on a date or you hang out with your friend, it's just going to be a lame text box that says, I hung out with this friend, or I went on a date with this person. And then you have the effect, the HP increases or decreases. And I was going to cut friends and dates out just for time. Here's a video of a guy just staring at his screen thinking. Here's another problem where I don't really have like the creative ownership of this game, and therefore do not have much emotional attachment to it, for lack of a better term. This isn't necessarily a project I want to spend a lot of time on. Let me rephrase that. A project I don't really intend to spend any more time on it past the game jam. It was meant to be a practice in programming. Learned a lot. That's it. Like with the friends and date implementation, I'm now just copy pasting things I've already figured out how to do. Like the problems have been solved. It's just about fleshing it out. So it's about trade-offs, which about this whole game is. Am I okay with having a possible boring game where all the player does is slog back and forth between work and home until the 12-month period runs out? But that would give me time to flesh out the narrative a little bit and develop personalities to the characters that the player interacts with. And most people, unless they've watched these videos, who play it will not know on the first time through that the school's the ideal job and by the school's the ideal home. Most people, 90-some% of people, are going to have to play around with it, and they're probably only going to give it one playthrough. And 90% will give it one playthrough until they get the game over. And then give it a rating, and it'll probably get a pretty low rating because Again, there's not a lot of emotional work into it. That could also, if I just don't bother with the friends and the dates, that could also give me the time. How's our time? 8 hours 16 minutes now. That could give me the time to do something like compose music, which I'd have to figure that out. That would be a lot. That'd be really stressful. I forgot to turn off notifications. Okay. That would be really stressful and everything, but it would be a problem to solve. Implementing friends and dates is not necessarily a problem to solve. Akiko, who just texted me, is the influence for this character, by the way. And that's it. I would rather solve problems. I think I'm going to get a lot, like if I submit this game, I'm going to get a lot of flack because I feel it's rather uninspired and unoriginal. And again, if you hit that situation where you can survive the 12 months, then you just slog it out. It just becomes a slog. Alright, I know that. If anybody wants to give that in the feedback, I know that. Ahead of time, you're free to say that. I can accept that. I agree with that. It can be a slog. But I'm out of time, and I'm going to have to flesh things out. Alright, so... I'm going to highlight in green what I'm actually going to do. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Leave the crappy opening art. Yeah, that's it. 3 more things to do today. And I think I should force myself to submit it. Force myself to the criticism of the game. Alright, let's see what we can do. I would actually say in this order, flesh things out, create the opening cutscene, then compose the music. If I don't have time to compose the music, I can and will just use the canned music that's available in RPG Maker. Yeah. That's the plan. That's the plan. That's the plan. Right there. Alright. Gotta see what Akiko wants. And gonna have to go to lunch at some point. I may come back in a bit, work for a couple more hours, and then go to lunch. And yes, it's detecting my uncommitted changes. So there we go. I'm going to commit this off camera. Thank you for watching. Anybody who has been watching, seriously, appreciate it. Come back later today, see what I get done for Ludum Dare 44.